Have you ever felt, I don't know, invisible? Like you've got all the right intentions, you're a good person, but you're constantly being overlooked, maybe even used and then replaced? Well, today we're diving into a strategic blueprint based on some pretty timeless and, yeah, kind of ruthless principles for transforming that feeling of powerlessness into one of total control. Let's get into it.
So, if you are feeling invisible, the source material argues it's not because you're weak or that you lack talent. It's because you're playing the game with the wrong rules. Being too available, maybe too emotional, and way too eager to prove yourself. This isn't a personal failing, it's a strategic problem. And this right here brings us to the core, uncomfortable truth that really sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. It's blunt, for sure, but the idea is that good intentions don't get you respect. Perceived value does. So if your good heart isn't the currency of respect, then what is? That's what we're digging into next.
Okay, so the invisibility problem. Why aren't good intentions enough? Well, being too available and way too eager can actually make you super easy to overlook. The argument is that people don't actually see your effort, they just see that you're always there. And paradoxically, that can lower your perceived worth.
So here's the bottom line. Respect isn't just given to you, it has to be earned. And the source material argues it's earned with outcomes, with results. People judge what they can actually see. Your power, your status, your results, not the struggle or the good intentions that they can't see. So, how do you fix this? The first big step is to build an undeniable, unshakable foundation. And this isn't about being mean or being a jerk, it's about shifting your entire focus from being just pleasant to being absolutely necessary.
Now, this is a really interesting distinction. Think about it. Charisma can open doors, no doubt, but it's fleeting. It's rented. Competence, on the other hand, that's owned. It's your skill, your craft, your ability to deliver results again and again. That's what builds real, sustainable power.
This right here is the strategic shift. The goal isn't to be the most popular person in the room. Nope. It's to become so good at what you do that losing you would create a massive problem for other people. That is the definition of a critical asset.
And this lays out exactly how you build that irreplaceable status. It's a process. It all starts with step 1, be consistent. Why? Because people trust patterns. That consistency builds trust, which then leads you right into step 2, deliver on your word. Reliability is so rare, and because it's rare, it's valuable. And once you've built that rock-solid reliability, you earn the right to step 3, control the narrative about your work and your value.
But a strong external reputation is pretty much useless without an equally strong internal state. And that brings us to our next section, mastering your inner state, winning the game inside your own head. Because what happens out there is almost always a reflection of what's happening in here.
The key concept here is something called emotional detachment. And let's be crystal clear, this does not mean becoming a robot. It means you feel the emotion, of course, but you don't let it drive your actions. You process it internally, and then you respond with strategy, not with a gut impulse. And when you get a handle on this, you gain what the source calls superpowers. You start making way better decisions because your judgment isn't all clouded. You become almost immune to emotional manipulation. And just by staying calm under pressure, you naturally command respect without ever having to demand it.
This just sums it up perfectly. I mean, think about any argument you've ever seen. Who has the real power? The person who's losing their cool or the one who's staying calm and composed? Reactivity is vulnerability. Composure is power.
All right, so you've built your competence and you've mastered your inner state. Once you've mastered the internal game, you can start projecting that power externally. So that brings us to our third core idea, creating powerful leverage to literally flip the power dynamic in your favor. I absolutely love this metaphor. Why is gold so valuable? Because it's scarce, right? But why is air, which is way more essential for life, practically worthless? Because it's everywhere. The exact same principle applies to you. Scarcity creates value, constant availability destroys it. If you're always available, always the one saying yes, you're basically teaching people to take you for granted. The art of strategic withdrawal, which isn't about being rude, it's about being selective with your time and energy, creates curiosity. It forces people to actually value your presence when they have it. And this all leads to the ultimate power move. The power of walking away is your single strongest negotiating position. It's not about making threats. It's about having the genuine freedom that comes from building other options and truly knowing your own worth. Now, that is a stark way to put it, but it really drives the point home, doesn't it? If you feel trapped in a job or a friendship or a relationship because you need it, you have zero leverage. When people know you can't leave, they know they don't have to treat you well. So, let's bring all of this together. By combining competence, emotional control, and strategic scarcity, you move from being just a pawn in someone else's game to a player who's controlling your own.
This slide just shows the transformation brilliantly. Just look at the contrast here. In the before column, you're desperate, you're reactive, replaceable, you're always chasing. Now look over at the after column. You become selective, self-controlled, irreplaceable, you're not chasing anymore, you're attracting. This is the shift from powerlessness to power.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question. The point the source makes is that these dynamics of power and value, they exist whether we like it or not. The game is already being played. The only choice you really have is how you engage with it.
Ultimately, this is the core takeaway. The world doesn't reward you just for having good intentions. It rewards you for the value you create. It's a challenging idea, for sure, but it's an incredibly powerful one for anyone who's tired of being overlooked and is finally ready to start playing the game by a whole new set of rules.